Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the I and Team series and your Daily Influence. It's another day for me in Naples, Florida, where I'm at a CEO conference with peers who lead companies, and it's really been I know it's going to be a good experience for Renee and I to be around people. I do this, by the way, to get off the island of being a leader of an organization or many organizations and be able to communicate with other people who face similar challenges. And just because we are advisors at IA and the I and Team series, it doesn't mean that we have all the answers. We understand what objectivity and what different points of view can mean to having resolution. We talk about these things all the time, and we make it a conscious effort to practice. We practice by engaging and understanding, listening to learn. And today we're going to talk about when to argue or not to argue, when to press a point, when to listen, and when to walk away respectfully. And we find ourselves oftentimes in groups of people where there is discord, there is disagreement. Oftentimes it's opinions that aren't necessarily wrong. The context or circumstances may be different for another person than it is for myself. And if I shut them off and tell them that they're wrong because I understand their context is different, I oftentimes lose the opportunity to learn a lesson. It's not that what they're going to tell me is verbatim what I need, but how they determined what they were going to do, how I engage in that conversation. Instead of arguing with them about who's right or wrong, negotiate with them to understand how they come to that decision and that feeling for themselves. And if you can't, because of emotion or whatever circumstance you find yourself in a conversation, to not be argumentative, the challenge is to find a way to back up, slow down, look down at the conversation, and if you can't listen, to walk away respectfully. My best saying is we can just agree to disagree. At this moment, I don't understand contextually what you're saying. It doesn't ring true to me. It may be true, but I don't have the current patience, the current emotional level of focus to hear you in a way that's going to be good for me to learn. And sharing that with somebody can be really scary. But if you press the point and try to argue with them, you're surely not going to win. Oh, you might feel better yourself about the fact that you stood up to a point that you thought was wrong. It might make you feel better that you, in perception, your own perception, because sometimes our own perception is different from everybody else's, won the argument, that you made a point. You may even leave that and go tell people how good you argued, and how persuasive you were, and how they were so wrong and you were so right, and nobody else understood you. But remember, there's always one common denominator in everybody's point of view, and that's you, their point of view. And it's not always what other people think. And when we open ourselves up to hearing others, even if we don't agree, we can choose not to engage and make it worse. And really, not to argue oftentimes is just not making things worse. Generally, it's delaying for an opportunity to have a more objective and thought-provoking conversation where all parties can listen to learn, where we can restart the conversation with the understanding that we are here to learn from each other and that we may end up agreeing to disagree. But we also may end up agreeing that contextually the issues we're facing are different, or maybe they're the same. Maybe we have some fundamental difference in our core. It might be our core values are different. It might be our mission is different. It might be our ability to finance or to bring to bear that's what's needed to overcome any issue we're dealing with aren't as great as somebody else's. There are so many different variables in discussions that we often just get worked up in the solution and not the path to the solution. We get worked up in the emotions that we feel in the moment and not in the moment, which is the issue. It wasn't about your emotions or their emotions. If somebody's angry in a conversation and they continue to press the anger, one of the best ways to get past that point is to ask them, why are you so angry? Why are you so X, whatever X is? Why are you confused? Why don't you understand? What don't you like about this? And then listen. Try to move it from argument to understanding. Take the opportunity to slow down and look down at how you're communicating and how you're asking questions. Are you being smart, specific about what you're talking about? Is the topic even realistic for the parties involved? And is this the right time to even have this discussion? And is a resolution to this problem attainable in this conversation, or does it have to be later? And are we missing some measurement here that would help move us forward? SMART can guide you in communication. It can guide you through conflict. It can guide you to decide whether to argue or not to argue, when to press a point, when to listen, and when to move on, maybe circle back around. Slowing down, looking down, listening to your emotions, being honest about them, and trying to get out of the emotion and into the issue, on either pausing or asking the right questions to get you back on the right rails. I look forward to talking to you again next week. Next week, I will be going to be in London, and I'm going to be talking about leadership in the sports community with our partners over in London, and talking about BizVision and SMART and how we can bring SMART to the UK with our partners and bring their amazing coaching to the United States. We'll be talking about this over the next 10 to 15 episodes, introducing you to some new concepts from the I and Team series in IA. And again, if there are topics that we're not touching for you, look back over the past 190 plus episodes. See if we have not already spoken on that topic. And if we haven't, reach out to us on social. The I and Team series on Instagram, the I and Team series on Facebook, the I and Team series on LinkedIn, an influence author on Instagram, and Your Biz Doctor on X. We're always listening. We're always eager to tackle issues and influence in the most positive and responsible way that we can. Hope you have a great weekend.